So Friday night is the fitness extravaganza, Friday fitness. This one's going to be hard. It's very simple. You don't need any additional toys. We've got the long front crawl stretch cords. I mount mine vertically. We will throw in a little rotation work later, just if you've got the horizontal ones, just so that, we get the body position involved. And if you're pivoted at the waist and your body's horizontal, sometimes we can lose a little bit of that full body involvement. So there will be predominantly front crawl movements. There's nothing to do with your dumbbells. There's nothing to do with your resistance bands. It is just a solid block of full stroke front crawl. And we're going to sort of work on a concept we used to do a lot of in squad training for the pool, and I think it has merit in most events, is working the back end. So you learn to cruise out and then build the pace. And even if you don't actually get faster, it's a good mental thing that you kind of even pace it rather than start too hard and then fade away. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to start with 8 minutes, and we can use the first 4 minutes to build the warm-up, and then the back end is going to be a little bit stronger. We're going to pick up the pace. So it's an 8-minute swim, a little bit of recovery, 4 minutes, 2 minutes, and 1 minute. Okay, what with the rest periods, that's going to take 17 minutes. We've got 2 rounds. 35-minute main set, okay, and I'll leave you to cool it down. All right, are we ready? In 3, 2, 1, here we go. 8 minutes, please, of full stroke front crawl, full stroke front crawl. Okay, nice and easy for the first 4, nice and easy for the first 4 minutes, and then we're going to add some pace. We're going to build it up, okay? Use this time to work on your technique. If you're vertical, don't forget the hips are involved. I'm going to keep the hands central, pulling down the middle. I'm going to imagine the leg kick is helping shift my hips from side to side as it helps with my rotation. It creates that foundation with which to drive full body rotation from. Think about the torpedo drill, and if you haven't seen that, email me or have a look on the Swim for Tribe YouTube channel, and you can see that drill, and it's very effective at learning to help you shift the body from side to side, learning to lift the shoulders so that you'll always have that longest window, because the shoulder will drive out of the way, and a nice easy breath. If you do not create your rotation internally, out of the legs, out of the hips, if you lean on that arm, and that's what I call creating your rotation externally, you've helped yourself come up for air, but you wasted the opportunity to set your catch, drive the body forwards, okay? So keep the hand pulling central, under the backbone, all the way through, and remember the hips will drive out of the way at the end of the stroke, so you don't have to go around the hip, which is an issue if historically you've not really rotated much in the past. Keep the hips flat, the hands will have gone around the edges, and that will shift you from side to side, upset you in the water. Granted, in a pool, you might not notice that so much because everything is parallel to you, everything is straight, everything is guiding you, keeping you moving straight, the clarity of the water is good. But actually, take that into open water, and you will then suffer. You will then add distance. Most stories I hear, on average, about 400 to 500 meters wasted, added to an Ironman swim, 4.2 to 4.3K. Imagine just an extra 10 minutes, even at a good pace, 2 minutes per 100, an extra 10 minutes of swimming wasted unnecessarily because your stroke didn't keep you as straight as you could have. The alternative is lots of sighting, which obviously has problems. You don't want to use your sighting to sort of, rectify the problems your stroke brings. Because even, if you sight enough to keep you straight, there's a pay, you've got to pay the price of that. And that is lifting the head, sinking the hips, interrupting the flow. And that's just going to slow you down, slow you down. Coming up on 3 minutes. Hopefully everyone's getting nicely warmed up. And then we're going to pick up the pace for the back end of this 8-minute block of work. And, when we say pick up the pace, you don't have to move the arms faster for this. We certainly don't want to lose the technique. We want the length of the stroke. We want the early catch position. We want to pivot from the elbow. Want to think about the hands, what they're doing, keeping the palm, pushing the water towards the feet, whether you're in a vertical body alignment with the cords hanging, or whether you are bent over at the waist with the upper body horizontal and the cords in horizontal position. Let's think about just, I'm going to move down a stair, so I just put a little bit more tension through these. Maybe if you're horizontal, you could just step away from the cord, step away from the point of origin, however you got them tethered, and just make that a little bit harder. In 3, 2, 1, fantastic. Let's go a little bit firmer, a little bit stronger. Keep the stroke, keep the technique. Good work, everyone, good work. Head nice and still for now. Let's worry about the breathing later. Let's just work on how the arms are involved, the upper body's involved, bringing the shoulder through to the chin, shifting the trailing shoulder out of the way as I extend forwards. And then that will, when I want to take that breath later, that'll give me a nice big window of opportunity to get the air in. The flatter I swim, the shorter the stroke, I'm going to get stuck under the arm as it recovers. It's going to mean I have to speed up the stroke to keep the air coming in, and then it all starts to spiral out of control from that point. Good work, everyone, good work. If you're a little bit ambitious, maybe you need to go back to where you were in terms of your position. It's not the end of the world, that's okay. Obviously, we do jump into this because we've only got that 40-minute Zoom functionality. So if you didn't have a chance to warm up and the first 4 was done a little bit lively, by all means, it's okay. There's plenty more hard work to come after this, all right? Remember, we're pulling from fingertips through to the elbow. Don't let the wrist bend too much. Don't keep the forearm horizontal. From here, actually, let's get this the right way around. So I am standing vertically. Imagine I was horizontal. That's the position I'm looking for. So the forearm, we do want in a horizontal position. If I'm stretched over in the horizontal position, I want to bring the forearm to a vertical position nice and early. Good work, everyone, good work. So fingertips to elbow is that setting of the catch position. Once you're here, once you're in line with the eyes, then you can start to drive that through, start to bring in the lats, bring in the triceps. Then the hard work can engage. Don't rip through the first part of the stroke. That's just wasteful because all you're doing is setting up the position, okay? Just over 6 minutes. We've got 2 minutes to go, 2 minutes to go. And then we're gonna have a little recovery, gonna add in some more rotation, ideal for, so let's consider an active recovery. We're adding some rotation so that those that have their cords mounted horizontally can just get the full body involved. 6.5 minutes, 90 seconds to go. Can you take a step backwards to add a little bit more tension? Do you need to come forwards? Maybe we're a little bit over-ambitious, it's not a problem. Keep the head nice and still, head nice and still. Keep the breathing nice and relaxed, nice and smooth. Remember, with these sessions, 1 minute to go, everyone, 1 minute. We're not trying to pull walls down or banisters. We're not trying to use heavy-duty cables. This is about the front crawl position, the muscle memory going through the arms, the body's involved. Just something to supplement the bike, the run you might have been doing. But just so that when we do hit the water, it's not so mechanical, not so clumsy. Hopefully that's not too far off. Everyone's talking about green shoots and a little bit of positivity. It'd be lovely to think about getting into the water soon. But for now, this is probably the best we've got unless you've got a swim bench. And if you are on a swim bench, you can still follow along. This will work just fine in terms of these sessions. It's all time-based. In 10. 9, keep it going, keep the stroke long, brush past, reach for the knees, don't let it shorten. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fantastic. Rest there, rest there. Good, good, good. 30 seconds before we go on to the next block. Shake the arms out. If you can still do this whether your cords are vertical or not. If they are horizontal, we're just going to add a little bit of rotation, work on keeping the head nice and still. Bring the shoulders through, let the hips follow. And there's your body position without the arms involved. Don't let the hips stay flat and struggle through. That's not how we swim. Let the hips get involved. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Here we go. 4 minutes, please, swimmers. 4 minutes. The first 2 are nice and relaxed. Let's try not to let it become a swim down from that first big block. Keep the accuracy, keep the technique, maybe step forwards a step, take the pressure off the cores if we were just getting a little bit too fatigued, if the heart rate was creeping up a little bit too high. Work on your rotation, switching through. Add in some breathing if you can. Remember, if you've done this session before, we like to mix it up, but not necessarily every third stroke, the strictest definition of bilateral that you might have read about in a textbook. Okay, we have some options. We have some options. We can go 2 to the left and then take that switch across to the other side. Now this way, you keep more air coming in. There's fewer switching 3 strokes. And it might just keep you that little bit more relaxed, because often it's not just the mechanics, it's actually the lack of air during the course of a length. If you think about the breath every 2 to breath every 3 in terms of the strokes, that's a lot less air in the course of a length. So if you can take 3 to the left, 3 to the right, you keep it balanced, but you still sort of mix it up. In 3, 2, 1, here we go. Take a step backwards, take a step backwards. Last 2 minutes, pick up the pace, pick up the tension. Don't let the stroke shorten. Still catching nice and early, turning the forearm horizontal if you're standing upright, as it is in line with the eyes, and then it pushes down and finishes strong at the back of the stroke. If you are bent over, pivoted at the hips, obviously you want that vertical forearm as early as you possibly can. And then the water is pushed back towards the feet. Good work, everyone. Good, good, good. Coming up on 11 minutes of work. 11 minutes of work, 90 seconds to go. Nice 4-minute block. Should be nice and warm now. Okay. Keep it going, keep it going. Remember our breathing. 3 to the side. And then 1, 2, 3 with the head still. Take us across to the other side. 3 to the opposite side. 1, 2, 3, into the other side. And in that way, I don't let the bad habits creep in. I keep mixing it up, but I still keep a fluid, healthy amount of air coming in. Okay, last 45 seconds, last 45 seconds. Keep it going, don't let the stroke shorten. Keep the tension there, keep the pace. Head nice and still. Unless you're working on your breathing, don't panic. If it's just if this is enough for now, just work on the arm movements. That's what the quads are for. Obviously, when you're back in the water, that's when you really need to work on the breathing. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fantastic. 4 minutes done, 4 minutes done. Wonderful. Come forwards. Okay, let's do a couple of single arms to get our rotation in. Okay, a couple of single arms. Just watch the shoulder. It's low, and then it switches through to high. Okay, it's low, switches through to high. Starts high, set the catch, pull through. There's the body position. Recover, stretch it back out. Other side, couple on the other side. Good work, everyone. In 3, 2, 1, back on the cords, back on the cords. We're down to a 2-minute swim. We're down to a 2-minute swim. Okay, 2-minute swim, steady on the first minute. Something slightly different, something slightly different. I want you to count the amount of strokes you take on the second minute. I'll give you the count, the cue. I'll count you in, and I want you to get a stroke count, okay? Just on the second minute. Don't panic now. Don't let it become a sloppy swim down. Get your technique. Adjust your positioning. Maybe take a step forwards if it's just a little bit aggressive. If you were comfortable where you were, fantastic, okay? All right, in 15 seconds, we're going to take a stroke count, okay? We're going to get a number of strokes taken in 1 minute. Okay, here we go, in 5, 4, I'm going to take a step back just for that stronger second minute. 3, 2, 1, how many strokes? Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 34, 35, 36, 37, 39, 40, 41, 42, 45, 47, 50, that's 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. 15 seconds to go. 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78. And we're done. We're done. Well done. 78 for me, 78 for me. Okay, just nice and relaxed. Shake the arms out. Just a little reminder of that rotation in case you're not getting much body work done on those horizontal chords. Okay, last minute, last minute. Here's the challenge. There's no stronger back end. This minute is fast, and we're going to try to beat that number. We're going to try to beat that number we just hit without letting our stroke disintegrate. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Last 15 seconds. 76, 77, 78, 80, 81, 82. We're done. We're done. Good job, everyone. Good job. Okay. Relax there. Relax there. Just throw in a little bit of rotation work, maybe some single arms, just to remind ourselves about that movement. Get the chords out of the way. All right, here we go. Nice and relaxed. Take a drink if you need to. Work on your rotation if you feel that's been missing from the chord movement in the horizontal position. Good work, everyone. That's 17 minutes done. That's the set right there. I'm going to reset that. We'll get going on round 2 with some other little challenges to come. So don't forget your stroke count. Okay, that might come in useful again later. All right. So shake the arms out. Have a drink. And we'll get going in just a second. We're back on the 8 minutes, back on the 8 minutes, okay? This first 4 minutes could well be a little bit of a swim down if the heart rate got up a little bit there. That is not the end of the world, okay? So in 3, 2, 1, here we go. 4 minutes steady before we pick up the pace. Oh, I've got them tangled. 4 minutes of steady, everyone. Take a step up, take a step closer, just ease the pace. But don't let the technique fall apart. This often happens in our fitness sessions. Given the chance to have a little swim down between blocks of hard work, or sometimes if we are practicing, the fast start into some mid-race cruise work, the stroke disintegrates. The important thing is, you've got to be able to control the rhythm, control the technique, and when you change pace, keep it going. Now, if you watch someone like Katie Ledecky, some fantastic front crawl being swum at the moment by that young lady, won medals in London 2012, Rio 2016, kept, regardless of some significant changes in pace, certainly on her 800. And if you could, even if you compare sort of the front to the back of the swim, you know, the stroke count's 39 all the way through. Okay, in 50 meters, 39 all the way through. And even if you compare, I mean, and again, she is hauling, okay, 8 minutes 12, 8 minutes 10 maybe now. That is really shifting, okay. But if you look at her 200, which obviously the pace is even quicker, the number of strokes, it does not vary much. It is still around that 38, 39 figure. Just because she's swimming faster, she's not taking more strokes. They're a little bit more powerful, they're a little bit more controlled, not necessarily more streamlined, because obviously the longer distance you swim, that is an amazing attention to detail that you don't want to neglect. But she travels the same distance. She sets that catch position, she anchors, and the body travels over and it exits, and literally, you know, her height, her lever length, she is traveling pretty much her body height, body length over that hand. The hand enters, it's pretty much static. Sometimes we lose sight of that because obviously we are in water, it's fluid. It's not like holding onto a rock face and you can see the progress you make as your hand anchors and you move forward. You know, running, it's fluid, it's nice, that foot plant, you travel over it. But in water, we often forget, we're not wrenching and ripping water past us. We are not trying to, you know, throw it backwards so that you are launched forwards. It's just a simple question of anchoring the hand and the body, as long as it's nice and streamlined, traveling over, traveling past it. And that comes from a good hand position, not too spread with the fingers, not small and clenched, you know, a few millimeters, palm coupled with the forearm, turning that over, exposing as much surface area as you can, anchoring that so you travel over it and past it. Okay, that's something to think about. And again, we're doing what we're doing. It's more like running on a treadmill. Okay, so we can lose sight of this. The arms are and hands are moving. They are starting high, finishing by the hip. Constantly think about how it would be in the water. Okay, 30 seconds to go. When we pick up the pace on this next 4 minutes, think about in the water how you would hold the water and you would move past the hand. That's a great way to lower your stroke count and think about some efficiency. Okay, might just be useful. Okay, in 10, get ready to take a step back if you can. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work, everyone. Here we go. Strong effort, strong effort. Don't shorten it. Don't lose the length of the stroke. Don't forget the hip involvement as you reach for the knees, push through. You possibly can't see at the bottom of the screen, but there's a little pivot through the wrist as I try to keep the palm facing, pushing water towards the feet for as long as possible. The hands are under the center of the body. I often like to, whenever possible, not often, I appreciate, certainly in a public session. But if ever you get a lane to yourself and you can sneak onto the black line, just keep pulling yourself down the black line. It's okay for the elbows to pop outside, okay, but keep the hand down the center. And that's not a bad alignment to keep you moving in a straight line. Keep the distance to as close to the race course as possible. I only swim, that's the flippant answer when people say, how do I swim open water quicker? Well, only swim the race course distance. If you do that, you're going to beat most people by 10 minutes as they add their 500 meters to an Ironman. Plain and simple, just like that. So think about the symmetry. I'm trying to create same angles at the elbows. The hands take the same trajectory, the same pathway under the body, same speed. Clearly with the cords, I've got mine on a pulley system, so the hands naturally gravitate to being at 180 degrees to each other. And that's not a bad rhythm. It's quite demanding, okay, and it might be useful for the start of a race, might be good for a pure water event where you're looking for a fast finish or you're chasing a pack. Often it just calms down a little bit when you're into that mid-race cruise, but you know, for now with the chords, I think the best option is to keep them at 180. Mine certainly wouldn't move like that because I'm going to lose the tension. Okay, even though I might drop into that near catch-up overlaps rhythm in an event. Okay, we're coming up on 6:30. Coming up on 6:30, which means we've got 90 seconds. Don't lose focus. Don't lose concentration. Keep the technique pulling. Have we overcooked it? Do we need to take a step up? Take a step forwards? It's not the end of the world. That's quite all right. 1 minute 15 to go before we get our little rotation active recovery. 1 minute 15. Here we go. Finish strong. Don't let it relax off. I keep the hands submerged under the body for this. I've seen online some of the posts going around and some people are trying to recover, and I possibly could. These are free flowing. They're not sort of the pure elastic, horizontal with a lot of tension. You know, there is not, when you recover your arm on front crawl, there is not something weighted pulling you forwards. So I don't really see the point of that. Okay, on a swim bench, you would possibly upset your shoulder joint. So just keep them submerged for this. You're just, you know, you want the tension here, 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 and then on the exit, just let it relax and come back to the starting point. This, I don't think it's going to help. I don't think it's going to help. There's a movement, you know, if you pick up your light dumbbells, you can just work that. But with the chords, it's a little bit bouncy, a little bit haphazard. I do not recommend that. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fantastic, everyone. There we go. There's our 8 minutes done. Drop the chords, come into a vertical standing position. Bring in the rotation. If you've got space, remember the drawing the sword position. This is wonderful. You've got the shoulder high starting, you're finishing with the shoulder low, keeping the head still. Let's just go a few on each side. I'm going to step across them in the narrow stairwell. Okay, add a light dumbbell to really work this. Get your rotation, loosen off the arms. Good. In 3, 2, 1, back on the chords, please. Back on the chords. Here we go. This one is 4 minutes. This one is 4 minutes. 2 minutes relaxed, 2 minutes strong. And then we're going to take a step backwards if we can, if the arms are in a healthy, cooperative mood, if they've been enjoying this, reward them. Take a step back. All right. So 2 minutes, 4 minute block, 2 minutes steady, 2 minutes. We're going to give it some oomph through the stroke. Remember though, it's slow at the start as you set the position, then you drive it and accelerate it. Slow at the start as you set the position, then you accelerate, okay? Think about light to heavy, if you're actually in water, light as a smooth movement, and then you drive through the heavier, harder to push at the back of the stroke. With the chords bouncing at 180, you might lose a little bit of sight of that, but as long as you're making the movements happen, that's the important thing. It'll naturally find its way in the water as you connect the fingertips to the elbow, open out the surface area of the forearm, and then pick up the pace and launch all of that water backwards towards the feet. Good work, everyone. Good work. Okay, I think we've got about 30 seconds to go before we pick up the pace. 30 seconds, and then we're going to take a step backwards. Hope everyone's got some nice plans for the weekend, some good training. Weather hopefully holds, and we're all doing our bit. Hoping for some good news soon. A little bit disappointing not to be at Stubbers Arrow Water Lake tomorrow. It would have been the first one. My goodness, I've never known such good weather leading into that. It's disappointing. I'm sure the water temperature would be fantastic, but hopefully we're back there as soon as we can. Okay, take a step back if you can. Take a step back. Here we go. 2 minutes strong, everyone, 2 minutes strong. Okay, here we go. Keep the head still. Keep the stroke long. Solid 2 minutes. If you're going to add in some breathing, just follow the hand under the body, turn it into the side. Follow the hand under the body, turn it out to the side. Keep the shoulder, the trailing shoulder moving above the surface, and then that should give you a nice gap, nice opportunity to get the head turn and the air in. Okay? Don't breathe it too late. Don't watch the hand finish at the hip and then turn. That's going to get it blocked, and that's going to be hard in the water to get that smooth breath in. I'm going to go 3 to the left. Watch the hand as it travels under the eyes, and then I'm into the air. And at a good pace, with good streamline, the body position is held high in the water. You do get that little trough appear. So if you breathe slightly backwards, it can be beneficial because the water is sort of cresting the top of the head. You're turning the mouth sideways, and that actually keeps the mouth high. Whereas the temptation will be to lift the head forwards to come up for air, where the logical position, you know, it's temptation really. You want to get to the air quicker. You look forward thinking, there it is. But actually, what with that wave breaking and the mouth sort of kept low on the, obviously on the bottom of the face, it's actually harder to breathe. So get the breath into the side. Last 15 seconds, everyone. Last 15 seconds. We're nearly there. Keep the pressure on. And then we're going to go back to our rotation. And we've only got the 2 and the 1 to go. We're nearly through. We're nearly through. Fantastic work, everyone. 3, 2, 1. Relax there. Ditch the cords, come through, shake the arms out, get a little bit of rotation in. Fantastic, everyone. Keep the head still. One of the hardest skills in swimming is keeping the head still and allowing the body to move. So often the sports on dry land sort of keep that fused and it's all done in one sort of movement. Okay, swimming, think about that. Practice in a mirror. Break the connection between the head and that independent body movement. All right, everyone, 2 minutes, please. 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Here we go. Take a step forwards. Don't let the technique disintegrate. It's not a swim down. We're not there yet. Think about the accuracy of the movements. Take another step forwards if the arms are really unhappy. Okay. Remember, we're going to count. We're going to count off the back of this one, and the challenge will be to try to beat our, remember from the first block, we've got 2 numbers. Let's look at the second one. Hopefully that was the bigger one. We're going to try to beat that. Okay, in 15 seconds we're going to go for a strong minute, and we're going to try to beat the bigger of those 2 numbers, which ideally was the second one. Get ready to take a step back if you can. In 3, 2, 1. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Halfway, everyone, halfway. Last 10 seconds. And we're out. Good, good, good. Good work, everyone. Okay, shake the arms out, relax. Loosen the body, get the breathing under control. Hopefully you hit, doesn't have to be huge amounts, just 1 or 2 more, just to challenge the arms, keep them working. Sometimes it's good to have a number to work towards. Here's a little bit of a challenge. Obviously we swim distance in the pool and we check the clock for time. Here we go, here we go. So we've got a number to chase. Are we ready? Last minute, here we go. Make this your biggest number out of all of them. Biggest number out of all of them. Last 1 minute. Take a step forwards if it's just a little bit too much. Don't let the technique disappear at the expense of just trying to beat odd numbers. Don't lose your technique. Halfway, halfway. Let's go. Last 10 seconds. And we're out of there. Well done, well done, well done. Good effort. Okay, we're almost out of time on the Zoom call. Just start your warm down, get the breathing under control. Okay, throw in some single arms. It's a great movement. Add some light weights just to give that, almost that feel of having some water under the hand to help you pull through with accuracy. There's a couple with the right arm, stretch through. There's a couple with the left arm. And a couple of drawing the sword. Keep the dumbbell if you do happen to have one to hand. Just gives the shoulder a little bit of a workout as you take that shoulder through its full range. Strengthen the shoulder as it stops the weight from crashing into the back of the hand. Good work, everyone. Good work. And as always, I would finish with a little bit of backstroke just to unwind from all of that front crawl. If you've got your dumbbells, fantastic. It will just help feel the weight of the water under them. Keep the upper arms traveling close to the ear, drop the elbow, set the catch position with just like front crawl, fingertips to elbow. There's that catch position as we push through towards the hips. Keep the head nice and still. I hope you have a great weekend. Please join me on Monday where it becomes a little bit more technical focused. I hope you had a good workout. I will see you soon. Thanks, everyone.